Hey guys, this is Alicia with Temple Beautiful. Today I want to talk to you about implants because I know that it is a topic that often comes up and I have a lot of experience in it. So I'm going to just share my experiences with you guys. But I know that this brings up a lot of sometimes confusion, a lot of anger. Let's just start right in. So a lot of people think that alien implants or galactic implants are bad. And I want to give a different side of the story. I want to tell you guys that they're not always bad. You know, a lot of us look at good and bad. Well, they're not always bad. I'm going to try and go from both angles here because I know that's how most of you guys are still thinking in terms of good and bad. So what exactly are there? In my experience, there's two types of them. The first type is the actual physical implant where they're teeny tiny. They used to be quite a bit bigger, actually. But now the last information I heard on it was that they were getting really, really small. So that's the first one. And then the second one is an energetic implant. And to me, when I think of energetic implants, I think of things like attachments. And I've dealt with a couple of those as well. So now let's just talk about the first one. Where can the implants be, regardless if they're energetic or if they're actually physical? They can be anywhere in the body. A lot of times people will talk about them being like up in the head, up in the ears, in the neck area, or somewhere on the spine, but they can actually be anywhere. I actually do have an implant right here. And I'll talk about that in just a second. And that is a good implant. That is something that is actually very beneficial to me. And I actually enjoy and am very thankful that it is there. So when you're talking about any sort of like interference with, the human race, people automatically think that a lot of times they feel like, well, if the Galactics or if the aliens or whatever you want to call them are interfering, they are going to put an implant in you, and that is a negative thing. Well, we kind of have to sort of look at this from a brand new perspective. I'm not going to say that there is no such thing as negative implants, because we do have implants that are not traceable. And what that means is that it could be a positive implant, it could be a negative implant, we don't know. Normally when implants are put in, it's something that is either asked for from you would ask your galactic team, your galactic family for an implant for a specific purpose. If you have implants, they should all be labeled. They should all, so like if you have a galactic scan, okay, and for those of you that don't know what it is, it's another form of like going to the doctor, but you're going to a galactic doctor. And they have the ability to scan you and to see what's going on with your body and what type of chips you have in you. And when they pull up those chips should have a number, and they should be able to tell you, who put that chip in, what group put that chip in, and why that chip is there, or why that implant is there. I call them chips, but so the problem comes in is when they don't have any information attached to them. So sometimes, and this just happened with my latest scan, I told them to give me a scan and just double check my shoulder, because I felt like a little bit of a burning sensation and it was kind of itching, and I'm pretty darn sure that I had an implant put in there, and I didn't ask for any. So when they scanned me, they were able to tell that, yes, there is an implant there. And this is when they told me that the implants are getting really, really small, so that they're harder to take out, the ones that you want out. And that the problem of the implant being there wasn't that there was an actual implant there. That's not the issue. The issue was that it was not recorded, it was not specified and cataloged as to what that implant was for. So I don't need that in my body. If we know what they're for, it's one thing. If we don't need them in. Now, that doesn't mean you have to get scared or nervous or angry. It just means for people like myself that I just keep up with it. I am very aware of the energy of my body. I'm very aware of when I start feeling things. And so I can pretty much tell if I get something that is not accepted by myself. So I can tell that it's not a big deal. And you guys shouldn't worry about yours either. It's nothing to fret about if you don't want them in. All you have to do is talk with your teams and your guides and just tell them, hey, can you guys give me a scan? Any implants that aren't serving my highest good or my highest purpose, I just want them removed. And chances are they'll just do it at night when you're not even aware of it. So here is some times where you specifically need removals of implants. Now I'm talking about removals of implants versus the energetic, and we'll get to that in a second. So for example, I had to have my implant that is located up here removed because it was malfunctioning. And so that specific implant gave me, when it was malfunctioning, it gave me headaches and it gave me pain in my jaw and my teeth area. And so they removed it, they fixed it, they put it back in, and it's functioning properly now. So you're probably wondering, well, why does she have an implant up there? And she seems so cool about it, like it's not that big of a deal. So let me tell you the story of my implants really quick. That implant was put in by my Galactic family, and it was put in with my energetic agreement that, you know, whatever they need to do to watch over me, to protect me, that's fine. If they feel that, you know, I need whatever implants or whatever chips, that's fine. They can do that. And so when I was young, what happened was, sometimes you have energetic attacks. Sometimes you have, you know, not so great energies that are trying to get a piece of you. And so that happened to a few of us, and they had to put these chips in order to constantly have communication with my human body and my galactic family. So if something energetic would come back in, they would know exactly, it would update them, and then they could remove it and they could take care of it. And so this chip has actually been wonderful. I love it. It would be weird if I didn't have it, because not only is it a constant connection to my galactic family, but it's also keeping me safe from any massive attacks or energetic attacks. And so that's just one example of my chip. And there's a lot of other good things. So for example, like why would you have a chip in? So some of the good reasons that you would have a chip in, or that you would ask to be implanted, would be like myself with my family with the monitoring, because they want to monitor me. It would also be for any sort of helping with gifts. So if you want to open up your channeling abilities, if it's time, they can either send down like an energetic implant or like a chip implant, and it can help you open up your channeling abilities. It can help you with your abilities that you have. You just need to know how to rework them and remember that you have them and how to use them. It can also help with illnesses in your body. So for example, if let's say you suffer from chronic, I don't know, inflammation of the joints, and you are a starseed or you're a galactic human, sometimes these chips can be put in to sort of lessen your pain while they work on you. Also, another chip would be like a hormone level balance chip, and that's one of the chips that I'm going to probably be getting pretty soon. Sometimes what happens when you starseeds and you galactic humans, you get put in bodies, your body and your galactic self don't always work well together. And so sometimes you can have, one of the common ones is like hormone imbalance, like massively way off for hormones. And so instead of getting injections or infusions, they call them infusions. I get those infusions a lot. They could just put a chip in. And another one is to maintain stability. So again, for all of you starseeds, all of you galactic humans, these chips can be put in so you can remain stable in your human body, because we all know it's very hard, right? Oh, and Georgie, our new kitty, is coming up to say hi. So sometimes these are actually good chips. So if up until now you've thought that every time you hear somebody talk about alien implants and how they're absolutely horrible, it may be time to just sit with it and rethink it a little bit and understand that there's always two sides to everything. Sometimes, yes, I just had a chip removed that was very, very small, that wasn't identified, and so we don't know what it was for. And sometimes, in the past, I've heard people talk about, oh well, I was implanted, and it was a manipulative implant that not only siphoned my energy, it made me act a certain way. We don't really know what those chips that are not specifically ID'd are for, but we can guess that. I've actually come up on this a lot, where a lot of the chips, the mother and the father will say, well, we've always been chipped, and we don't know why, because they're not documented, and now we found out that our son is chipped. And so usually what that happens is a DNA family where, for whatever reason, whatever group, we don't even know if it's good or bad, it's just they are monitoring that family and that DNA sequence. And so a lot of times it's just simply monitoring for whatever purposes. It could even be like health related purposes, DNA purposes, and so forth. And so sometimes we have to have those chips removed. And of course, we don't want the chips that don't have a specific ID, in. So when they don't have IDs and they're not labeled as to who put them in and what they put them in. So when you become more aware of your galactic family, when you become more aware that, you're a starseed or you're a galactic human, you will have more and more interactions with your galactic family. And so it's almost like when you go to the doctor here on Earth, you have a chart, right? And they keep track of everything they've done, all the medicines they've given you and things like that. Well, galactically, it's the same. And so that's what I'm talking about, your chips having IDs. It would be in your chart as to who chipped you, why they chipped you, things like that. So sometimes you need removals, and that's when a chip is painful. Like, for example, mine was really painful and they had to fix it and then they put it back in. Or if the chip is painful and because they do have actual like Earth doctor people that take chips out. The Earth doctors don't actually know if these specific chips were meant to be there or not. They don't know if, your chip was put in there by your family or by yourself, and what it's for. So when you go to the doctors here on Earth to get your implants removed, you don't know if you're removing a good implant or a non-labeled implant. You just don't know what you're doing. And so sometimes when you remove them and they're not supposed to be removed, it can cause dysfunction. It can cause health problems. It can cause a lot of things. Now, when you know you have a chip and the chip is preventing you from daily functioning, that is a problem, and then that chip needs to be removed, or that implant needs to be removed. So there are grounds for removal, okay? And there are chips that are good for you, that help you out. There are chips that we actually don't know why they're in there. I'm going to talk about the energy implants now. So and this is a really big topic. So there are a lot of different energy implants. I can talk about the ones that I've specifically had examples of or that I've personally dealt with. One of the implants, energetic-wise, would be something like this, where I personally, in a past experience or past life, I was stabbed in the spine, actually led to my death. And it wasn't a normal knife. When you think of knives, it held a energetic or magical energy about it that actually placed in there for many of my incarnations until I was able to get rid of it, in this time, pain. And so constantly in that spot in my spine, I would have pain, and I didn't know why until I finally figured it all out, and they were able to remove it. I was able to remove it with some work. And this is where the shadow work comes in. Nobody wants to do it because it means that you're going into the deep, dark depths of yourself and your experiences. And sometimes it's not so great in there, and it's a lot of emotion, and it's a lot of work. And people don't want to do shadow work, but it actually is really important. The other thing that I want to talk about is not necessarily past life related, but it's attachments. And I've had a couple of these happen too, where for whatever reason, that people enjoy your energy, they like your energy, they realize you have wonderful love and light energy, and they want a piece of it, right? So what they will do is they will put an energetic attachment onto you. And when you have these energetic attachments, things kind of sort of start to go downhill, right? You were really happy and now you're sort of depressed, or things were going really great. You had a lot of luck and now you don't have luck, or like, so like things kind of change drastically. You were perfectly fine and now you're always really tired. Like that could be some signs of attachment. It could be signs of a lot of other things too. So it's hard for me to tell you this is the specific signs and blah, blah, blah. But attachments then link back to the person that, or the entity or the energy that actually attached. And so they then receive your energy, which gives them a boost. And so in order to fix those, you have to either cut cords or you have to detach the energetic attachment. I can tell you that you are in charge of yourself. So if you feel an energetic attachment, you can say, I command, because you command, right? So I command that any energetic attachments that are not there for my highest good be sent to the love and light. I call upon Archangel Michael to help me with this, to take that energy. I wish it well, and I send it love and light. That's one way you can heal your energetic implant attachments. The other way you can heal them with the past life or the past experience, and that's shadow work, where you have to actually go into that life. You have to understand what's going on. And then, for this one, because it was so deep, and there was a lot of figures in this one, but I had to actually get my Galactic family to help out with this. So I hope that gives you guys a little bit more information about alien implants, galactic implants, and energetic implants. Don't always think negative right away. Be logical about it. Most times, for whatever reason, the human perception is always to right away turn it around and to think negatively. So if you can stop your brain from doing that and to focus on what is, and research it a bit more and try to understand it from many perspectives, not just one perspective, you will start to understand that there is no specific good, there is no specific bad. Everything is in your own timing for your own advancement, whether you conceptualize it or organize it as good or bad. Sometimes we have these things put in our path to make us not only step over it, but conquer it at the same time. And so we learn, and then we can pass that information on to the next person. I'm going to ask you guys if you have any implants that you know of, or if you have any questions, let us know below and I will answer them for you. And until next time, take care and blessings. Namaste.